Hi, my name is Brooke Wendler, and this is my reflection on my year with the Emerging Health Professionals program. When I got my letter of acceptance from Emerging Health in February of my junior year, I had no idea what was coming for me. The person who entered the EHP program is definitely not the same person who left it. At the beginning of the year, I had some knowledge of the healthcare field, but it was pretty limited. After this experience, my scope is broadened and I truly see all the opportunity there is for me. I have been exposed to many clinical facilities, learned many clinical skills, gained a better understanding of the human anatomy, and have become certified in CPR, first aid, stop the bleed, and much more. I am leaving this program with a great foundation for my future. I cannot speak enough to how beneficial it was to gain early exposure to all these aspects of healthcare in high school. I feel confident moving into college and into my future in medicine after having this experience. Coming into Emerging Health, I was very uncertain of the path I wanted to take in the medical field. I kept going back and forth between physician's assistant and physician. The EHP program allowed me to immerse myself in these careers and really pick them apart until I found what I was looking for. I'm happy to say it has become clear to me that I want to be a doctor. I really enjoyed taking classes at Penn State Lehigh Valley. It was so amazing to be exposed to the rigor of college courses in high school. It forced me to develop new study habits that I will be able to utilize in all my future studies. I feel confident moving into college having these first classes under my belt. Figuring out the change in lifestyle is enough to worry about when starting off at college, let alone having to adjust to the classes. This early exposure has definitely benefited me in more ways than one. This was all around a positive experience for me. Since my freshman year of high school, I have been touring colleges. At the beginning of high school, I didn't really know what I was looking for in a university, so my family and I toured all types: small, large, hot climate, cold climate, far from home, close to home. On the ride up to Penn State, I was skeptical about the size, but when I got there, there was something about the people, the school spirit, and the positive atmosphere that instantly won over my heart. My tour guide that day offered some really great advice. You can make a large school feel smaller, but you can't make a small school feel any bigger than it is. Biochemistry is a pretty small major at Penn State, so once I got through all the general courses, I realized that my class sizes would be fairly small and not as overwhelming. At a second visit to Penn State, I met with the chemistry professors and they gave me a tour of the labs. They showed me the research they were working on and were eager for me to offer up what I knew on the topic. Their passion and interest in what I brought to the table was something that no other university showed me. The professors really looked to create personal relationships, and that was something that made it hard for other schools to compare to Penn State. Ever since then, I knew Penn State was the school for me. The massive amount of research, clubs, and other opportunities at the campus make me excited for all I can do with the next chapter in my life. Of all my shadowing experiences, my overnight shadow of an ER resident was by far the best. I got to see all types: kids, adults, spinal taps, cellulitis. I loved the variety in patients and the unexpectedness of what was to come through the door next. I can definitely see myself working in the emergency department in the future. This was one of my turning points in my EHP experience. After my conversations with my mentor and his attending, and after imagining myself in his shoes, I realized I could not see myself as anything but a physician. My favorite speaker this year was Edith Gray, and not just because her name sounds a lot like Meredith Grey. She offered great advice for us as aspiring medical field students. Most of all, I really enjoyed the code simulation. This tested our teamwork skills, communication, leadership, and overall technique with compressions, ventilations, and operating an AED. The best part was that our simulation was recorded so we could watch ourselves, learn from our mistakes, and improve for next time. I had two favorite tours this year. One of my favorite tours was our visit to Citronia Ambulance Corps. I really enjoyed all the hands-on learning this tour had to offer. I learned how to correctly use a tourniquet and pack a wound. I got to explore the heart and lungs of a pig. I got to tour the mobile stroke unit, and I had the chance to practice intubating on a mannequin. Not to mention, by the end of the tour, I was also certified in Stop the Bleed. The other tour I really enjoyed was the tour of LVHN Surgical Education Center. I learned a lot about surgical instruments and clamps, as well as the operations of the OR. My favorite part was getting to test the laparoscopic and robotic surgery simulations that surgical students use for practice. As I was operating the Da Vinci, one of the robotic surgery simulations, I had a rush of excitement and a feeling I had not experienced on any other tour. It was in this moment I realized that surgery was on the table as an option for my future career. After this year, I gained clarity on some questions and fuzziness on others. As previously mentioned, there were a couple turning points in this year that helped me make my decision about my future. I have gained clarity on the fact that I know I want to be a physician and not a PA. My shadow in the emergency room confirmed this for me. While this became clear to me, another aspect became blurry as new possibilities were thrown into the mix. After my tour of the Surgical Education Center and after our field trip to Surgery Live to watch a cholecystectomy, surgery became an option for my future. I find myself presently conflicted on whether I want to be a medical or surgical doctor. After my emergency department shadow and my shadow with inpatient pediatrics, both these specialties are now swimming around in my mind. If this year has taught me anything, it has taught me how the course of our lives can be changed by specific and special moments. All it takes is one moment. The moment I received my letter of acceptance from Emerging Health, I had no idea how fortunate I was to have this opportunity ahead of me. Since that day, my life has not been the same. Emerging Health is a program that has changed me for the better. I consider myself lucky every day to have been a part of something so special. Deciding to do this program was easily one of the best decisions I have ever made. It has given me some of my best friends, great mentors and teachers, early exposure to the healthcare field, experience, and most of all, it has shaped me into the person I am today, as well as shown me the person I hope to one day become. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you are all doing well and are staying safe.